Evil is on board. Powerful evil.
On charter from Romania to London.
We call him Dracula.
1897 from Romania to England, a cargo ship is sailing. It is abandoned and empty when it is discovered on the shore. When a lighthouse crew discovers the debris, they also locate a captain's log that contains a description of the events that caused the crew to perish. Captain Elliot and his first mate Wojciech are searching for crew members to board the Demeter as it prepares to sail to England 4 days early. A doctor named Clemens who attended Cambridge University before approaches the group. Wojciech declines him in favor of 3 other men, though. But Clemens keeps going. One of the guys loses control of a crate while the others are loading their cargo aboard the ship after becoming alarmed by a dragon sign on one of the crates. Toby, Elliot's grandson, is almost crushed when the container drops, but Clemens manages to grab him just in time. The man walks away, believing the dragon emblem to be a terrible omen. Elliot thanks Clemens and joins his fellow crew members Abrams, Olgarin, Petrovsky, Larson, and Joseph in boarding the ship. Clemens is given a tour of the boat by Toby, who also shows him his dog Huckleberry and the animals. Later, Clemens joins the crew for dinner and expresses his desire to comprehend how the world operates. The dragon-themed crate starts to move and topple over in the meantime, and something seems to come out of it. The group travels to England but learns that Huckleberry and the livestock were brutally murdered by something once there. Toby is heartbroken by Huck's passing and the fact that Elliot gave him the responsibility of caring for the animals, but Clemens consoles him. After the men throw the animals overboard, they search the cargo and discover a woman who has been hidden inside one of the crates, barely alive. To keep her stable, Clemens provides blood transfusions. Petrovsky makes disparaging remarks about Clemens and the woman, and when Clemens tries to respond, Larson threatens him with a knife. Later, Toby reveals to Clemens that the woman's name is Anna and that she has been speaking a little. While the rest of the crew is sleeping at night, Petrovsky is on duty on deck. He goes to investigate after hearing a knocking noise. Petrovsky then notices a grotesque thing creeping on deck. The beast jumps at Petrovsky, slices his throat with its claws before sucking his blood before he has a chance to react. When they discover Petrovsky's blood all over the deck, the crew is tired. Despite the fact that Clemens was the one who reported Petrovsky's death, Wojciech initially accuses him. Later that night, while keeping watch on deck, Olgarin and Larson are attacked by the same beast, which drags Larson's face across the deck before consuming him. Olgarin flees the beast by scaling a tall building, but it follows and bites into his head, leaving him alive but critically injured. Olgarin is restrained to a bed to be cared for, but as night falls, he breaks free and chases Toby, who has now turned into a homicidal drone. Toby hides and locks himself in the captain's quarters. The remaining crew members go below deck after realizing something is awry. Olgarin is subdued, and they attempt to open the door, but the thing is pursuing Toby. Toby has already been attacked by the beast, who has absorbed most of his blood by the time Anna arrives and gets a weapon to blow the lock off the door. At night, Abrams is left alone to patrol the deck. After knocking him out, Joseph tries to board a lifeboat in order to leave the ship and get away from the monster. Unfortunately, it uses its ability to fly to murder Joseph, allowing the boat to return to the Demeter empty but bloodied. Olgarin is fastened to the ship's mast while Toby is placed in care. He asserts that he is able to discern every wind, ocean, and heartbeat sound. Olgarin laments that he is experiencing scorching when the sun rises. Before Wojciech shoots him in the head, the sun contacts his flesh, causing him to furiously explode in pain. In her conversation with Clemens, Anna confesses that she is aware of the origin of all of this. She resided close to the creature's castle in her village. None other than Dracula is who he is. He has bitten Anna and was planning to use her as blood rations, but the transfusions that Clemens gave her prevented her from turning like Olgarin did. Elliot wants to stop at the next port for the crew's safety, but they protest because it would mean they would not get a bonus payment as was promised. The crew prepares to toss Toby's body into the water after wrapping him in a sheet out of concern that he would meet the same end. Elliot loses himself in his sadness and believes Toby is moving when Anna prays for him. When he pulls back the sheet, Toby turns into a vampire. He gets burned by the sun as well, and Elliot gets burned when he touches the youngster. They hurl him into the water, where he eventually drowns, leaving Elliot in a hopeless situation. The crew of the Demeter worries about what might happen if they bring Dracula with them as they approach England. Elliot gets even more irrational and thinks they can use Dracula to bring Toby back to life, but Anna calms him down. The crew resolves to make their final stand with Dracula by bringing him down with the ship, even though Wojciech doesn't want to because he claims the ship as his home. The crew prepares for Dracula's debut as night falls. While Elliot intends to perish along with the ship, the vampire beast swoops over and kills Abrams first. Dracula kills Wojciech when he fractures his leg when he falls through the deck before moving on to Elliot. When Clemens tries to fight Dracula, the monster grabs him by the throat. He claims that he has no fear of him, to which the vampire replies, "You will." Dracula is shot at by Anna with a gun before she lowers the mast to suffocate him. When the Demeter collides with English shores, she and Clemens manage to escape, and Dracula departs as the lighthouse staff discovers them. The next morning, Clemens notices that Anna is gradually going back to her vampire ways. He suggests performing another transfusion, but she claims that will simply delay what must eventually happen. As the sun starts to rise, she bids him farewell and splits from him, whereupon she burns to death. As Clemens reaches London, word spreads that the Demeter's entire crew has perished. When Clemens enters a neighboring pub to look for the former home of Dracula, he hears the same hammering noise coming from the ship. The malicious vampire is there in London wearing a man's disguise and toting the identical wolf cane he had when he boarded the ship. Clemens follows Dracula outside and vows to not rest until he sends the creature back to hell once and for all. Unaware that they are sharing the Demeter with none other than the fabled vampire Dracula, the crew is transporting cargo from Romania to England in 1897. He has kept Anna with him as a blood reserve, but the thing is pursuing the crew now that Clemens, a doctor, transfused Anna. Before slaughtering the majority of the crew and the livestock on board, Dracula transforms a man by the name of Ulgarin into a vampire before letting him burn in the sun. Toby, the grandson of Captain Elliot, too meets the same end despite Elliot believing he can be rescued. The remaining crew decides to let Dracula perish along with the ship as their final defense against him. Before the ship collides with the shoreline, Clemens and Anna manage to capture Dracula and escape. Anna chooses to let herself burn in the sun because she is aware that she will turn into a vampire as well. Clemens makes it to London and discovers that Dracula now walks among the people disguised as a man. Clemens vows to hunt him down and kill him for good. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Please share and like the video. Goodbye.
Believe it.
The devil is real. Cursed thing.
He is on this ship.